Hi there, it's Carlin from the Real Outdoor Experience. This show contains scenes from real fishing and hunting adventures. This show probably also includes scenes from a multitude of other outdoor activities. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi everybody and welcome. It's Carlin from the Real Outdoor Experience. Thank you for tuning in to Part 4. Part 4 finally of Hunting Pheasant for Beginners. Part 4 is dedicated to the processing, the preparation, and finally the cooking of the pheasant that you've taken in the field. Hopefully you've been successful on your first hunt, and if not, no big deal. It's always fun to get out. I'm not always successful on all my hunts, and that's what it's all about. It's being in the wilderness. You don't have to take an animal every time. It's about enjoying yourself, camaraderie with friends, taking your kids outside, and making it happen. So stay tuned, we'll get right back to the Real Outdoor Experience and Cooking with Carlin. And as always, I'm keeping it real. Welcome back to Part 4. Thank you so much for staying with me. Now it's time to clean, process, and prepare the birds for our dinner table. Now this section could get a little bit graphic, so if somebody is in the room that is squeamish, please turn away. If not, then let's move on. Cleaning and preparing a bird is part of the whole hunting process, and it's important for you to know how to do this properly so that you can bring the most amount of meat to your dinner table. Let's get at it. The first step is to take some of the chest feathers off to expose the skin. Once you've done this, you can run your fingers under the skin and work it off like you're taking off a shirt. The next step is to cut off the feet, the neck, and the wings if you choose, and work the rest of the feathers off along with the skin. Angelo has cleaned a ton of birds and gave us a great tip. You can buy a set of shears that make the job so much easier and safer, as you won't have to use your knife to cut through those leg and wing joints. If you are up for a challenge and want to keep the skin on for a different presentation on your table, try and pluck the bird. I've tried it many times, but prefer to take all the skin and feathers off, as it saves time. Once you have removed all the feathers and have searched through the bird for shot, it is time to remove the internals. I have heard that some people don't remove the internal organs, even through the cooking process. Now I can't say that this is good or bad, however I can say that I do remove all of the internals prior to cooking. There is really no bad way to complete this step, but as Angelo will show, there are easy ways. Take your knife, cut just below the rib cage, pull the ribs forward to expose the internal cavity, and then take your knife and cut each side of the bird's anus. Once this is complete, stick your fingers into the cavity all the way up to the neck and remove everything that is inside of the bird from the top down. Your bird is now ready to be rinsed and take home for cooking. Every once in a while, you get a bird that's been really badly damaged by the shot. For this particular bird, Paul has had to take only the breasts, as the rest of the bird has been badly damaged. Sometimes, unfortunately, this is unavoidable. Welcome to my kitchen. I love to brine all birds, including chicken, and I find that it makes the meat so juicy, and it will help if you tend to overcook game birds. I'm preparing the brine and will soak the birds in it overnight. I start with 3/4 cups of white salt, a 1/4 cup of white sugar, and then I fill the bowl up with water, probably about 4 liters. Then I stir it until it all dissolves. Avoid any metal containers for this step. Then I do a final check and rinse of the meat, check for shot, pull the feathers out, just make sure it's ready to go, and then it goes to the brine to soak overnight. For this recipe of pheasant schnitzel, I will remove all of the meat from the bones and eventually pound it flat if need be. Now that I have all the meat off the bone, I'm ready to bread it and make it into schnitzel. As I had mentioned, you can pound it flat if it's too thick. If you have some small pieces, you can save them for a soup or stew or bread them as well for some tasty tiny little nuggets. To bread the schnitzel, it's already moist, so I start by dipping it in flour, and then I take it from the flour, put it into a milk bath, and then into the breadcrumbs. Once it's done, I can put it in the frying pan and start the cooking. I've used peanut oil to fry these, but you can use an oil of your choice. It takes about 2 minutes per side, then I put them in the oven on a sheet to warm them as I cook the rest. For this meal I have also cooked a side of maple glazed carrots, roasted spaghetti squash, and a potato dish called Palms Anna. For this dish you take thinly sliced potatoes and stack them in a frying pan. Oil the pan well to start, placing the potatoes over and over again on top of each other on a medium heat. Once you've completed stacking the potatoes, flip them over and place them in the oven. Thank you so much for tuning into the Real Outdoor Experience and my 4-part series on pheasant hunting. This has been a successful hunt, a successful series. I brought home some pheasants to cook for my family, and now I get to enjoy all that hard work and all the time outside trying to find the pheasants in the field. It's tough sometimes. Again, thank you so much. Get outside, take your family outside. It is very, very important that you do that. They will thank you and you will enjoy every minute of it. Thank you again, and from Carlin and the Real Outdoor Experience, keep it real.